I am Mark Stewart, and I call this higher law. And with it, I'm expecting to anger almost every one of you listening, but possibly unite almost every one of you with some anger, with some uncomfortable feelings, and I'm taking on what probably is the hardest domestic issue, and that's abortion. The legislation concerning the killing of babies in utero should not be taken on by the federal government. I don't think it should be taken on by the state government. I don't think it should be taken on by local governments with the exception of zoning laws. I'll get to that. The law that should govern is a moral law. I think that is a higher law. And our morality, armed with facts, I think leans us to virtually extinguishing the practice of baby killing. Virtually gone because of our decency. We have been led for 2 generations by feelings. And it's gotten stronger as feelings seem to be taking over all other walks of life. But when logic and facts are involved, I think we end up subordinating feelings. Fact, whether a 3-month-old in utero, a baby can feel pain. Fact about whether a 5-month-old in utero could survive right there. We know many more things than 20 years ago when, it was thought of pretty widespread. This is just part of a mother. It's like a cyst. Removing this baby, it's not a baby. It's to be sloughed off. It's not murder. It's not even killing. It's a removal. We know better. And when moms who could be giving birth know better, most of them will keep their baby happily. Now, zoning laws, I think, are going to routinely get rid of the practice of abortion anyhow. If you let towns decide, then at a minimum, if a town doesn't allow a slaughterhouse for animals, don't think it should allow abortions. If a town doesn't allow a crematorium, certainly shouldn't allow abortions. If a town doesn't want biohazards that can hurt us, it certainly shouldn't allow a hazard that can kill humans. And babies are human. And this, I understand, could be block 1. Let's overcome it. Babies are as human as 1-year-olds. There is only a continuum. There is no significant difference. There is probably a bigger difference, well, no significant, okay? A 1-year-old doesn't have fully formed brain activity yet. A 1-year-old can't physically run yet. A 1-year-old is almost certainly closer to a 4 months in utero baby than a 1-year-old is to a 13-year-old well-developed teenager. Where are you going to draw the line? And let's take it away from the general. How about be specific? Most of us have, with a 1-year-old, held a 1-year-old, tickled a 1-year-old, talked cute to a 1-year-old. Raise your hand if you're in that category. Now, keep your hand up if you are happy to see that 1-year-old protected from being executed. Your all hands are up. You would want a law to keep 1-year-olds alive. The 4-month-old in utero is not substantially different. All right, there's a second block. One of them is that men are the ones who supposedly have no standing to say because men don't experience what women do in childbirth. Correct. We do not go through labor pains. We don't go through morning sickness. We don't go through discomfort. but we also don't have the incredible joy that women have. And so it's worth asking women, and ask the next one who's holding a toddler, would you be happy that somebody on your emotional whim took their life? Ask every mom who's holding a toddler or walking hand in hand with their 4-year-old at this point. They're not going to say, these women are not going to say it was right to execute their baby. If men are controlling, and that's reason 3 that some people think, this is a way to keep women down. If men were really controlling women for their own sake, well, then they would allow abortion, okay? We would say, abortion's great because men can then sleep around with no consequences, just wipe out the baby afterwards. Abortion, if legal, makes men more despicable. If there is no abortion, if it is so stigmatized that it's rare, then men would have much more respect for women. So this is a conservatarian's argument that a higher law should govern. I'm a conservative. That's how I'd like to see my community act. But in governance, I'm a libertarian to have very few laws. And so if zoning laws, community by community, are voted in, I think it deserves respecting. I think with stigma, there'll be very few women who feel compelled to have abortions. We who would like to eliminate abortions entirely face a selectivity problem if we outlaw them across the board, because no prosecutor is going to treat every woman fairly. No prosecutor is likely to put a 10-year jail term on the 42-year-old mom who thought she was done with her 3 kids already, unexpectedly has a 4th, and in a frenzy commits to having an abortion. They're not going to put her in jail for the same kind of time as someone who flagrantly uses it as birth control as a 19-year-old. There's also the problem of unenforceability, and making laws that can't be enforced may be not worth making in the first place. There are mail order abortifacients, ones that mifepristone is one of them, that allow somebody without detection, without an abortionist present, to end her pregnancy. We can't detect this, okay? We're not going to be searching the mail for bottles of pills that might go to a household. Because it's unenforceable, I don't think we should have widespread laws against women taking it into their own hands. I do believe we have and could have laws against abortionists. Once again, they need to comply with zoning. Otherwise, abortionists who know better, who know that it is killing, could be removed from our whole states. I like stigmatizing so that people remove themselves from even wanting it. And I don't care if there's discomfort in stigma, because if you're taking the life of a baby, you're causing extreme discomfort on the other end to some innocent human. Instead of stigmatizing, we can eulogize, uplift. That's not a funeral. That is uplifting while they're living. The mom who didn't want her baby and kept the baby anyway, or heroically gave up a baby to adoption. And American parents really want American babies. They don't want to be going to Panama or Russia or Asia, where the laws make it so hard for Americans to adopt in the first place. So, with a higher, there are many laws that are unenforceable. Higher laws, once again, that when there's attention to it, when there's teaching about the value of not slandering, not stealing, not sleeping with another's wife, not taking another's life. That's commandments 9, 8, 7, and 6. And though laws against that are few and far between, we generally adhere to them. We certainly think it's despicable when any of them are violated in our presence. So, when abortion, not considered murder by law, is still stigmatized, we get a lot further. And if we keep stigmatizing and keep informing, we will do better, even with some abortions legal, than we have had in the last 50 years.